In 2009, the world was shaken by the track Alors on danse by a relatively unknown rapper at the time, Paul Van Heever, using the pseudonym Stromae. The song quickly topped the European charts and soon reached North America. As a result of this dizzying success, Paul signed contracts with major labels, released new tracks, music videos, and albums, and gained the love of audiences worldwide. He's shown on the covers of fashion magazines, launched his own clothing brand, and developed his own music label, fully living up to his meaningful stage name. In fact, the stage name, Stromae, is a sort of anagram of the word maestro, taken from the Verlan youth slang in French. At first glance, the maestro's path to fame may seem quick and easy, but it wasn't that simple. Paul made his way into the music industry independently, without influential acquaintances or mentors. His main helpers were his well-placed voice, creative and unconventional ideas, and a deep love for his craft. However, what became the currency on his path to recognition and fame? Let's travel back to the past, where a young Paul lives, grows up, and is still searching for his future path. On March 12, 1985, in Etterbeek, a suburb of Brussels, Paul was born into a large family. His father, Pierre Ruther, was an architect from Rwanda, and his mother, Miranda Van Heever, was Belgian. Paul inherited features from both his South African and Flemish heritage, giving him a unique appearance typical of mixed-race children. He was named after his uncle, paying tribute to his beloved brother. According to Rwandan traditions, it is customary to name children after relatives. In 1994, 9-year-old Paul loses his father. Pierre Ruther went back to his homeland during the darkest times for the people of Rwanda, the genocide against the Tutsi. As a result of this tragedy, over 1 million people in Africa lost their lives, including Paul's father. For some time, Miranda, the mother of the future musician, kept the truth about Pierre's death hidden from her son, attributing it to a long business trip. And in the beginning, it was easy to hide the truth since Paul rarely saw his father due to frequent work trips and strained relations with his own spouse. In essence, Paul hardly knew Pierre, cherishing only rare moments spent with him in his childhood. It was these difficult relationships with his father during his childhood and a life without him that became the foundation for the song, Papaoutai, released in 2013. During challenging times, young Paul found solace in music. The Belgian music scene at that time was teeming with a variety of genres and directions to suit any taste, which only fueled the genuine interest of the boy in this industry. After entering the prestigious Saint-Pierre boarding school in Godin, Van Heever began studying music, finally having the opportunity to learn the creative craft. He tried to form a musical group with classmates, determined the flow and genre of music, and chose the French language to write his tracks.
Météphobe ou sexuel, mécréant ou terroriste, on ne changera pas la vie, donc comme tout le monde, je vais en souffrir jusqu'à la mort.
Paul created a unique pseudonym for himself, using French youth slang that involved syllable rearrangement. Thus, Maestro became Stromae. By the age of 18, Paul was determined to pursue a career in the music industry. He enrolled in the National Institute of Radio Electronics and Cinematography, specializing in sound engineering. He balanced between studies, part-time jobs, and pursuing his artistic endeavors. Together with an old friend, Van Heever formed the group Suspicion. Despite the short existence of the duo, they managed to release the track, Faut que t'arrêtes le rap, and acquaint themselves with the process of music production from within.
Ça danse, eh ben c'est Tremzy, ils aiment ça mais faut que je te montre c'est quoi être MC.
After the group's breakup, Stromae continued recording tracks at home using available computer programs. Simultaneously, the aspiring musician hosted a YouTube podcast called Stromae's Lessons, where he talked about his ideas and achievements. At that time, Paul was already gaining attention from the public and like-minded individuals, and he released his first mini-album in 2006. He started receiving invitations to local events and performances. After completing his studies, Stromae started working at NRJ Radio, where he impressed listeners with his broadcasting style and openness. Paul understood that besides having a stable job at a successful radio station, he now had the opportunity to showcase his own creations to the world.
Voilà, je crois que vous avez compris. Et puis en plus de ça, moi j'ai envie de rajouter une petite gimmick qui va faire.
It was in 2009 that his track Alors on danse was launched on the radio, introducing the young musician to the audience.
Le début de notre refrain, n'est-ce pas? Mais moi je trouve que quand même ça manque un petit peu, faut mettre un petit peu plus d'instruments.
Within a few days, the song gained popularity both on the radio and among seasoned producers, musicians, and critics, who discovered the emerging artist. The trial release of the track resulted in signed contracts, awards at the MTV ceremony, and undoubtedly, the emergence of new fans throughout Europe and even beyond.
Qui dit amour, dit les gosses, dit toujours et dit divorce. Alors on chante.
Critics and music industry observers eagerly discuss the rising maestro on the horizon, heralding a new direction in pop music. Paul records new tracks, winning over more and more listeners, while colorful and choreographic music videos perfectly convey the atmosphere of each song. For example, in the music video for the song Tous les Memes, which addresses the relationships between men and women, Stromae decides to visually depict the stereotypes surrounding both genders. He alternates between playing a woman and a man, each expressing their grievances and problems, while lighting effects and an asymmetrical hairstyle help him effectively portray his intended message. Equally creative is the music video for the song Papaoutai, which Stromae dedicates to his father, who died in Rwanda. In the storyline, a little boy tries to interact with his father, who is represented as an emotionless mannequin, played by Stromae himself. Not receiving any reaction from his father, the boy sits next to him and freezes, mirroring his parent. It is evident to the naked eye how personal the song and its accompanying video are. However, the issue described in the track resonates with many of the singer's fans. In 2014, Stromae releases the song Meltdown, which becomes the soundtrack for the film The Hunger Games, delighting not only his fans but also fans of the fantasy trilogy. The track features collaborations with singer Lorde, rappers Pusha T and Q-Tip, and the American pop rock group Haim.
Set fire to a government of thugs. Respect only comes from the money or your blood.
Despite the opportunities that arise, Van Heever does not rush to seek shelter under the wing of an influential producer. He remains true to the idea of achieving success independently. Therefore, early in his career, the musician establishes his own music label, Mozart. Under this brand, he later releases his own clothing line and oversees all of Stromae's creative activities. What made Stromae stand out and stir up society? In addition to displaying tremendous perseverance, Paul puzzled the public with his musical style. His tracks seamlessly blend energetic dance music, hip-hop, French chanson, and Cuban music. Fearless in his experimentation, Stromae combines different genres in his music, resulting in a unique sound unlike anything else.
À ceux qui n'en ont pas, mais mon bout du monde, et bien qu'il y reste, je l'aime à mort, je l'aime à mort, je l'aime à mort.
It is worth noting the depth and social relevance of Stromae's song lyrics. They reflect on introspection, occasionally delving into very depressing reflections or addressing acute social issues wrapped in lively dance music. These contrasts, combined with the artist's eccentricity, yet emotional openness and simplicity, make Stromae an unforgettable performer. 2015 was a turning point in Stromae's life. Planning a concert tour of African countries, Paul underwent malaria prophylaxis and experienced a series of side effects that significantly affected his health. Due to a sudden deterioration in his condition, Stromae was forced to cancel his concert in Rwanda, his father's homeland. The deteriorating health, accumulated stress, and professional burnout gradually led to the mental breakdown of the singer. However, he finds the strength to perform in Rwanda in October 2015. In his homeland, Paul is greeted by a crowd in love with him, who sincerely takes pride in their compatriots' achievements. Young people paint their faces with the colors of the French flag and dance energetically, imitating their idol. This performance not only delighted the local audience, who witnessed the musician's live performance for the first time, but also ignited a spark of hope in the hearts of Rwandan youth. Unfortunately, the demanding tour ultimately undermines Stromae's health. The musician's depression and accompanying illnesses worsen, forcing him to step away from the stage. The public's reaction to such a resonant event is mixed. Some sympathize with their beloved musician, some feel disappointed, and others even accuse the maestro of another publicity stunt. Undoubtedly, the emotional feedback does not benefit the introspective performer. One of the factors that helps Stromae stay afloat is his happy marriage to stylist Coralie Barbier. Together with his wife, Paul releases a fashion line under his own brand, Mozart. At the same time, Stromae gradually regains his interest in music. For one of the fashion shows in 2018, the maestro releases the 9-minute track, Defiler.
Sans écouteurs, on la croirait folle.
Afterward, Paul once again fades from the radar of the music industry and focuses on producing other musicians. Among the artists who have sought Van Heever's production expertise are Billie Eilish and the band Coldplay. 3 years later, in October 2021, Stromae returns with the song, Sante, dedicated to essential workers during the challenging years of the pandemic. In 2022, the maestro decides to step out of the shadows and releases the album, Multitude. His sudden reappearance resurrects his past popularity, and his new tracks go viral on social media.
Ben oui, dans la vie tout se paye, on te l'avait donc jamais appris.
Paul addresses important topics such as mental health and the darker side of mental illnesses. During a live interview on TF1, Stromae shared his own difficult experience and even improvised the song, L'Enfer, which translates to hell.
Pas trop quand même, sinon ça repart vite dans la tête.
Notably, this musical pause was a spontaneous act by Paul, not planned for the interview. The public reacted differently to such an initiative. Some journalists criticized him for unprofessional behavior and accused him of another publicity move, while others praised his courage and honesty. Either way, Stromae once again made waves among his millions of fans, not giving up his position.
Bien que je fasse le mien, non? Entre le tien et le mien, la différence c'est que moi je paye des impôts.
In 2023, Paul starts canceling concerts and events due to health problems. It's likely that the musician is going through another challenging period in his life, which he needs to overcome in the shadows. As the past has shown, Stromae sooner or later returns to music but doesn't stop there. A person who values living, creating, and not confining oneself to limitations doesn't stick to one direction. And the final product of his creative endeavors will always find its admirers.